Welcome back to Appalachian Dim Sum,
where our entertainment is our comfort food.
Yes, and this is episode 39, coffee service for this month.
Yeah, for the month of December.
Mm-hmm.
Be our second to last entry for the year.
Yes, because, well, let's see, coffee service, desserts, and then leftovers. So third to last.
We just did desserts.
No, this is coffee service. That's right. Second to last.
Yes.
Yes. We recording them at the same time. I'm gotten confused. Yes, we just did desserts. This is coffee service, and then leftovers is next.
We got some eggnog out, and it actually doesn't have alcohol in
it. Doesn't have alcohol. You would be surprised. I put some eggnog in my coffee as a creamer.
I am not an eggnog drinker. He was asking me if I ever had eggnog, and I was like, I don't think so. Because when our parents used to get it at the house for gatherings, it was always alcoholic, and we weren't allowed to have it.
Right.
So I think I've tried it before once or twice, but it's not a regular thing. And actually got out my, I don't know if you can see it or not.
It's got a mustache mug.
Got a mustache mug, so you can actually get it and not have an eggnog mustache here.
That's great.
It's not bad. It's just basically eggs and milk, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
And you got it from
Cold Stone Creamery. It's like a local dairy around here.
Yeah, and you can tell that it's locally made or homemade or whatever. It's actually kind of good.
Yeah, you can buy like mass produced eggnog, and it's fine. But I prefer I mean, you can make it at home if you want, but I've never gone that far. I don't think I feel like I'd mess it up. So I just try to buy fresh as I can get.
It's like calcium and protein.
Yeah.
Do bodybuilders like drink eggnog?
I have no idea. I've always considered eggnog to be a drink that gets you more soft and chubby than swole. So I'm not sure if bodybuilders are drinking it. More people like me.
I don't go to gyms. Roman bathhouses of today.
Okay, that makes me think of the Always Sunny in Philadelphia. The was it crow's milk? Was that what they called it? Oh goodness!
Didn't know you could milk a crow.
Crow milk, yeah. Fight milk is what they called it. It was their mascot was a crow, and Charlie and Mac were trying to like give it to the guys who were trying to cut weight and stuff like that, and it was like, this fight milk will get you in shape, and it just made everybody sick, and so it helped them drop weight because they would vomit.
Those are like those late night things. They're like, you need to lose weight by this weekend.
Yeah,
get this like power drink. It's like, this power drink is just going to make you blow your intestines out of your body. That's how you're going to lose weight. You're going to be so sick. By the time the weekend gets here, you won't be able to go to the thing you're trying to lose weight for.
But yeah, eggnog's not for losing weight, I don't think.
But this is our coffee service. Would generally be our wrap-up episode, but because December has one more Monday in it, we will have our random leftovers episode, and kind of works out, since it's the last episode of the year, that it will kind of be of a year in review kind of topic for that one.
Yeah, that's going to be our leftovers, our coffee service. Like you're saying, usually it's like the stuff where that it's usually some kind of topic that's tied into our main topic, and our main topic this month was The Fisher King
as a Christmas movie.
Yeah, as a Christmas movie. And then we had, for desserts, we were talking about just Christmas films that we're either looking forward to watching in December or just some favorites.
And so we were going to make this one about Christmas anime.
Yeah.
And one of these actually is a perfect tie-in, and maybe it could have, if we could have gotten enough time to where you could have maybe watched this movie with me, we probably could have just focused on this film, Tokyo Godfathers, because if you want to have like a double feature night for a family, that if you enjoy the movie like The Fisher King or Tokyo Godfathers,
like the other one,
they are perfect. It would be an amazing double feature to come out, watch Tokyo Godfathers, take a break, intermission, come back and watch The Fisher King. It almost seemed like those two movies were meant to go together, and they're made a decade apart. I don't think the Satoshi Kon that made Tokyo Godfathers even mentions The Fisher King. So, and I don't think he was trying to ape anything from it or steal anything from it either. I think it's just two different ways, two different directors approached the same kind of topic and did it in a Christmas. Well, again, Fisher King is not set in Christmas time. Tokyo Godfathers is.
Right.
Um, maybe it might be another reason I always kind of associate the Fisher King with a Christmas film is because of this movie. But we can talk about that more. But that's one of the main ones, and we found some other Christmas anime. I think I'd like to talk about the positive first, because the other ones that I found, or at least the other one that I watched, is going to be a negative. I don't want to dwell super long on the negative, but the Tokyo Godfathers is an amazing film. And then I watched that, and then I watched this very recent series. I don't even know if the first season is even done yet, of Sanda.
No, it's not.
On Prime.
When we were talking about doing anime Christmas films, we just looked at what was available because I didn't know.
Yeah.
I knew like there's
anime episodes.
Yeah, there were some animes that would have like an episode that took place at Christmas or was Christmas themed at least. I didn't know if there were any like series or films, and we found Sanda. And at the time it was like there's 6 episodes. I was like, okay. I had no idea when it was made or anything like that. I just found it. It said it had 6 episodes. I was like, okay, well that's a 6 episode thing. It must be like a limited series.
Yeah.
No idea it was currently being released.
It's up to 9.
Yeah, it's up to 9.
I've watched all 9.
Same.
I won't be watching number 10. I'm done with Sanda.
Let's see. It looks like Tokyo Godfathers was inspired by a 1948 American film called Three Godfathers.
Yeah.
Okay. So it just looks like 3 cowboys and a baby.
Well, that's another interesting sort of side topic into cultural and film things, is the relationship of Japanese film to American Westerns, with samurai and Westerns.
Yeah.
And I don't know which, I don't know, it's another chicken versus the egg thing. I don't know who inspires
which
what.
Inspired which.
Yeah. But almost seemed like they were almost happening at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to say that a lot of the samurai films, they made them in those contexts because they'd seen some American Westerns and were kind of blown away by that as a concept. And they just made a Western in their world instead. But doesn't super relate to what we're getting ready to talk about. But the yeah, it's an interesting correlation between the two for sure. I'll start on a little bit of info on Tokyo Godfathers while you're.
Yeah, I haven't seen this. I wanted to see it. Like I said in the previous episode, I was looking for it, seeing if I could find like in the library. No, it was not in any local libraries. Obviously, movie stores don't exist anymore. Best Buy doesn't have films. All of the thrift stores around here, their films, they don't sell DVDs anymore.
Yeah.
There's a comic shop I know that has DVDs, but it's such a mess. Like I don't think it got organized at one point and it's no longer organized.
One I went to with you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
it was just a big mess. So unless you want to spend a half a day going through their movies to try to find ones that you want, it's not worth your time. So it's not on streaming. Like I said, I think I found it on like Plex, and it was subbed but not dubbed. But I'm gonna borrow it from you, and I'm definitely gonna get to it.
I think it's one that
season.
you do need to go back and watch the subtitled version, because then when you listen to Satoshi Kon as a topic all by himself, he's pretty ridiculous filmmaker. And again, I think he died at like 46. I think from some kind of cancer. So he died very young. But yeah, he made things like Paprika, Perfect Blue. I talked about it last time. Because we got into trying to do some of this Christmas watching, I didn't get into Paranoia Agent. There's a series that he did. It's kind of funny too. I've been sharing Crunchyroll with my son. Went to watch Paranoia Agent and it wouldn't let me because I wasn't old enough.
That's great.
So I had to get him he was out of town visiting.
You had to call your son.
I had to get my son to let me
watch. To turn the parental controls off.
It's like, will you turn on the anime so I can watch my show? I understand why it's on there because there's a lot of crap on Crunchyroll that I don't want to have access to and don't want to have to flip past. But
Steam is that way, where like if you just don't put any kind of restrictions on it, you just get all sorts of stuff.
uh,
The computer video game sorts.
when we get to Sanda, it's going to kind of make the point that it undoes every argument that I've ever made for anime, because it's everything that people that will say we're not watching anime because of this. That's what Sanda was. But I was going to get into some more Satoshi Kon stuff. He did Millennium Actress too, which that's a great film. Paprika is probably the best. I mean, Perfect Blue is good. It's just Perfect Blue is disturbing. It's it's not a recommendation to like, hey, let's all sit down and watch this, because it's pretty disturbing. It's psychologically disturbing.
Yeah.
It's I think there's a sexual assault there.
I mean, that's really the inciting incident. That's what makes her go crazy.
Yeah, it's. But
I don't know. Perfect Blue is one of those films. I've said this before, that I will recommend Perfect Blue to people who don't like anime.
Yeah.
As almost, and I'll tell them, I'm like, it's a rough movie, but it's a good movie.
Yeah.
But it's a movie that you could easily see being made like a live action film, and it shows that anime doesn't always have to be. And I'll talk about one here in a couple of minutes, where it doesn't always have to be like bubbly or exaggerated or cartoony. It can be straight. You can play it straight.
Well, between his films, that Paprika is an amazing movie. Also, visually kind of assaults the senses.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff going on there. Might be too much for people that don't really know anime to get into that and not be freaked out by some of it, I guess. Tokyo Godfathers is kind of that middle ground. it's one that you could show somebody like, this is an anime movie, just watch this movie. And if people complained about it being animated after watching it, then they're just probably people that aren't going to be happy, or they had their mind made up before they watched it.
Right. And that is a probably a good portion of at least like the American audiences.
Yeah.
There are people who just aren't going to take anime seriously no matter what.
But he released this thing to a film, like a studio or a theater in New York, to adults, and like it was packed for like days of people coming to watch this thing. And probably at the time, this thing came out in 2003, probably introduced a lot of people to anime and turned a lot of people on to anime.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what he was trying to do with most of his films, was make anime for adults, but not be adult content anime.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not just boobs and nonsensical sexual things. It was, I'm going to show you people that I can make adult quality films that are anime.
And I think that's a good way to say it, is he took the medium seriously.
Yeah. I say this is a perfect double feature with the Fisher King, because they both really show those personalities of broken people in the situations. Like Perry and the Fisher King, that was really kind of interjected or injected into his life. You know, his wife was killed by a shooter at a bar in New York, pushed him into homelessness. That's not really often the scenario with most people that do end up like that. More often it's drugs, alcohol,
abuse,
sexual deviancy, abuse, some other kind of trauma that takes people to this. Really, the largest percentage of it is drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
And but they're still people, and they still have unique personalities, still have stories that can be told, and that's what he does with this movie. The centers around three people: Jin, Miyuki, and Hannah. Jin is an alcoholic. You kind of slow reveals on most of the stories with these people. That's kind of the thing to know about him, is he's a middle-aged alcoholic. It's pretty obvious that he had a family early in the movie, and that's kind of what you know about him. Miyuki, you're guessing, is about, from the story narrative, is about 15 or 16. She's a runaway that's been gone from home for 6 months, so she's been gone for a while. And Hannah, which is a guy who dresses in drag and has a past as a drag queen performer, very much like. Didn't we figure out that he didn't really have a name in the Fisher King? The guy who's the
right, he was the cabaret singer.
The cabaret singer. cabaret singer. Both of these films kind of taking place in that same era too, sort of late 80s, early 90s, Tokyo, New York. A lot of the same kind of cultural things happening at the same time. Um, Miyuki, the 16-year-old, these three have kind of just got to know each other. They live together in like a cardboard tent type box, house big enough for three people, kind of in a park. Miyuki is kind of like a gatherer, that she's the one that's always going out and looking for food, finding books, finding all kinds of things in the trash, very much like Perry and the Fisher King, and bringing things back for the others. And in the course of doing this, one night she hears a baby cooing and crying and goes and finds that there is a baby in this huge like pile of trash bags, and brings the baby to the other two. I think I think they're nearby anyway when they're out rummaging, and they look and see also that there is a underneath the baby there's like a locker key. So they take that, and that's kind of how this whole story starts. Excuse me. Hang on one second. I don't want to talk too much. I've got to get something to drink because I think everything else on me is wearing out. I guess my voice might as well be too.
Yeah, I'd like to interject, but like I said, I haven't seen it, so I'm just taking it in.
They find this baby who they call Kyoko, and there's a reason for that, which you get to later. And the story is about they set out to find the parents. Um, they have this locker key. They start to find clues along the way. Hannah, the guy, wants to says that he was born in the wrong body. He always wanted to be a mother. Has that sort of instant problem that you have to face in that is that you can't be. So
Yeah, I watched the opening scene, and when I was trying to like figure out, does this have English audio or whatever, and he told me they were getting food from like a food kitchen,
yeah,
and he told the woman who was giving him soup, maybe I could have a child too. After all, Virgin Mary had a child, and he told the woman, I'm eating for two. Give me more. Give me
yeah,
more.
yeah. And very much like the Lee Schreiber character in Mixed Nuts.
Mm.
Hannah is this huge dude. Most of the time, living on the street, has most of a mustache. I think he tries to shave it off, but it comes back. So on top of being in that, living that sort of lifestyle, he's huge, which kind of makes the character even more funny. And that was the portrayal that we used to get in these kind of things. But it really is this kind of almost like a Mixed Nuts story where their adventures take them through all this sort of like crazy scenarios.
Now, do they just assume from the get-go that, oh, well, this baby's lost, so the family must want it?
Well, they debate about like
Because in that
Wants to
situation, I'd be like, someone threw their baby away.
Jen wants to take him to the police.
Yeah.
And Hannah doesn't want to.
Okay.
Hannah wants to keep it. Really wants to just keep it as his own.
Yeah, I'd be like, this is my baby. Yeah.
But I think very quickly, as the baby is crying all the time, they're trying to figure out ways to feed it and stuff like that. Starts to realize we can't do this.
Right.
So it would be better if we could find the parents, find out what happened, and then go from there, kind of thing. I guess is his plan.
Yeah, I guess, and I could see we don't want to just abandon it because we have a sense of responsibility for this child now because we found it.
Yeah.
We want to see if the family wants it, and if the family doesn't want it, then we'll figure that out then. Okay.
You'll find out that
I can see that.
There's been scenarios with multiple of these characters that have been in foster care. I think they know that if they just turn the baby over to the police, that's where the baby goes.
Okay, so they know the system will go into. Yeah.
They don't want it to. These are the systems that kind of created them, so they're trying to find an alternate thing. And part of the story is them sort of realizing that there's not an alternate. There's families that take care of their children, and there's some people that have babies that don't want them. Yeah. And you also get a scenario here that hasn't been revealed yet in the story, that what's actually happened with this baby. But and all the crazy stuff that happens while they're wandering around the city, they find this car with this giant, like, overweight Yakuza boss pinned under it, and he's just sitting there like trying to push the car off of him. And you're like, what's going on here? And it was like basically he got stuck in the snow, was going around to see if he could like clear some stuff out of the way. Didn't have the brake set. went back to the back, and this other lady came along, and her dog got loose. The dog came and like ran underneath him, made him slip. He bumped the car rolled, and then it rolled back on him, and the
Oh
lady
no.
lady just goes off and leaves him. So
Oh
it's
jeez.
just this giant like 350-pound guy is like sitting there, and he's like, his face is red, and it's just about killed him.
Stuck in her car.
So they free this guy. He takes them as a thanks to them, takes them back to it. They've got like this little lounge, kind of like a, not a speakeasy, but like a little bar type area that he takes them back to. And you get into this whole story of all three of these characters. They start out, they've got like their little story of who they blame for their situation.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that you're going to find out is that there is nobody to blame for their situation. They created these situations. But Jen is originally telling everybody that he used to be a competitive cyclist, and that I think Miyuki, she tells everybody that she's just fleeing the police, that the police want her. That's her story. Hannah doesn't really give you his background that much, other than just kind of the situation he's already presenting. He's this giant guy dressed as a woman. Um, the story that Jen tells everybody is that this guy set up a scenario for them to cheat, like a bet in a bicycle race, and then he got found out, and then he was banned from cycling because of this deal they were going to make. And he has, it's weird, like when he comes back to this Yakuza boss to the party, he meets this guy that he says is the guy that did this to him. It turns out that the guy is just, Jen had a gambling problem, and this is a guy that he used to make his bets through. But
but that's a pretty common story for homeless.
Oh yeah,
Made too many bets, couldn't pay them off.
And in the middle of this thing, this Hispanic like hitman, this dressed as like a waitress at this speakeasy or whatever this place is, tries to kill the Yakuza boss and shoots the guy that he was claiming is the one that wronged him. and then takes Miyuki, the 16-year-old, and the baby as a hostage so he can escape. And he can't speak anything but Spanish, so he's just yelling at everybody in Spanish, and he takes them all and runs out with them. And while they're at this place, they were trying to find this mother, and that was one of the things they found in the locker, was the name of this club that the Yakuza boss that they happened to encounter was. There's a lot of things where it's just like it's kind of being provincially kind of drug around into these scenarios where everything they need to find out is the next thing that they kind of encounter.
Right. It definitely sounds like when they were writing it, they're like, well, we need this to happen, so let's make a story for that.
And they learned that the mother did work there at this place, and that her name is Sachiko, and she used to be a dancer. So you get that little part filled in that we know who the mother of this baby is now. And from there, because they get separated trying to chase the guy that kidnapped Miyuki and the baby, Jin goes back to his place, and there's this old drunk guy there that it looks like he's just about dead. And Jin has alcohol he wanted for himself. The old guy's like, I'd just love to have one more drink. So he shares alcohol with the guy. You think he dies a couple times. Every time he like wakes back up, says, I got one more thing to ask of you. It's just these funny scenarios. And Jin, I think the first time like he goes to like try to close the old guy's eyes because he thought he died. He rubs his fingers down trying to close the eyes, and the guy's like looks at him like, what are you doing? And
it's a touching moment. Oh, he's dead.
He's dead.
Rest. You can rest back, now. What?
And he's dead. But then he finally dies, and he like one of the last things he does is he gives Jin this like red bag, and it's like, what's the deal with the bag? And you don't get to find out what the bag is because very much like in the Fisher King, there's these groups of younger guys that, and again, this must have been a thing in that time frame, 80s and 90s, that are disgusted with all the homeless everywhere and are out just beating them up at nighttime. And this group of teens just start beating the crap out of Jen, and they think the old guy's still alive, and they're beating the old dead guy. I mean, it's just, and he ends up you almost kind of think he's going to get killed. You go back to Hannah finds the girl and the baby. The guy's taken he was there just to do this hit on the mob boss and was just trying to run away. The Miyuki thinks she's being taken away and like sex trafficked or something by this guy. He just takes us back to this little shanty town with a lot of Latinos in it, and hides them there. The mom is actually pregnant with another baby, so she's actually breastfeeding the found baby and her own baby, and trying to communicate with Miyuki, but she can't because she speaks Spanish. But they're able to kind of say a few things back and forth. The baby starts crying. Hannah hears the baby crying, comes and finds them, and they get the baby back, get the Miyuki back. So those two are back together. Hannah's trying to figure out where to go. Hannah's backstory is that he was adopted by several different people and ended up, I think, not officially getting adopted, but taken in by another guy that owned a drag bar and raised him in that background,
in that environment.
And of course, that's why he became what he became. And while he was working there, he got into a fight. Hannah has a very quick temper through lots of things in the movie, and on top of the fact that he was like a 6'5" guy, kind of a little bit frightening when he gets mad. He was at the bar when he was younger, growing up there, got into a fight and like I think really hurt somebody. Left the bar and never felt he could come back because he was ashamed of what he did and kind of thought he was in trouble, and everybody there hated him because of it.
Okay.
So
my assumption, like without seeing any of it, was that Hannah was like ostracized by family members because he's trans, drag, or whatever.
yeah,
But that's not. He was that his family, the people that raised him, was supportive of that.
yeah,
And it was about the hurting that person.
yeah. And
okay.
Kind of
well,
in the same way of always
shame in the Japanese cultures a lot more.
Yes.
A lot more damning to a person than it is in our culture.
Yeah, it actually means something there that when you disgrace yourself, that it's
American culture shame. What's that?
Yeah.
You shouldn't be ashamed of anything.
Yeah, no kidding.
Okay. Well, so far from what you've told me, and I know you have more to talk about. This definitely, I think this might. I'm hoping the lens I'm going to be watching it through is this might be a better film to recommend to like non-anime fans.
Oh yeah, no, it's a great,
because everything you said so far, like this could totally just be a film.
There's absolutely no anime supernatural anything in any of this. It's just an animated film.
And it sounds like it's almost like little vignettes of stories as you go through it.
It is. It really is kind of a, here's the scenario. We're going to backfill everything to let you know how we got there.
Yeah.
And then we're going to bring it all to a conclusion kind of thing.
I'm sorry, continue.
Yeah, but it goes back to this drag bar and finds out that the drag bar is not far from where they were living in their little tent. And one of the other drag guys there was out and saw Jen laying there beat up. So they had brought Jen back to the bar to kind of patch him up. So they find Jen again.
No, this is the drag bar that Hannah came from?
Yeah.
So Hannah knew it was close by.
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting.
But just would not reconnect with it because he was scared of all that. And
interesting.
So much comedy in this thing that's just that funny Japanese sense of humor, that they wash his clothes because they're bandaging him up. And they dress him in what they have, so he gets up out of bed and he's like in a dress and stuff, and he's this big burly guy with a beard, and he got like a head wrap on and stuff, and he's like, no. Let me see. From there, they find out about Sachiko. They go to this house that she was supposed to be in. This is supposed to be the mom of this baby. They named the baby Kyoko. I think I said that. You don't really know the basis for that name. Jen picks that name. You start to also get some sort of background with Hannah. Hannah had been chasing the Latino guy around and all this stuff, and multiple times, like when Hannah gets out of breath, he's spitting up blood.
Ooh.
And Hannah collapses after all of this. They have to take him to the hospital. They get to the hospital. Jen was hiding the fact that he had like 30,000 yen saved up and wanted to do something with it, and was thinking that like he was kind of thinking, we can give it to Sachiko for this baby if we ever find Sachiko. He has to spend it for Hannah at the hospital because the bill turns out to be like 29,000 yen. So all the money he has saved, he has to spend on.
The exact amount. That's life, isn't it?
Yeah,
You get
yeah.
you get a little bit of money set aside, and your brakes go out.
A couple hundred yen
Yeah.
set aside is about like $2 or $3. So he has like a couple dollars left. But at the hospital, and this is the other part of Jen's story, is he's been telling everybody that he was doing all this gambling, or he was trying to make this like crooked bet with the bicycling thing because his daughter was sick, and that after the bet went bad and he was in such debt with the mob that he couldn't take care of his daughter died, and his wife died shortly after, and that's why he came to the street. That was his made up backstory. At the hospital, he meets his daughter. His daughter is there as a nurse. She's the one that comes to, when he has to pay the bill, he looks up and there's his daughter. Daughter's name is Kyoko. That's why he named the baby Kyoko. And Hannah finds out about the lie. Miyuki does too, and they just berate him for lying to them the whole time while his daughter's right there, being too chicken to go reconnect with his daughter. They leave with the baby.
So that's two of the three that they're in their situation because they're being cowardly.
Yeah. They're walking to go find, see if they can find another way to find Sachiko. And as they're walking across this bridge, you see this lady climb up on the bridge, and she's going to jump off the other side. That's Sachiko. So they just encounter Sachiko on the way. They keep her from jumping off the bridge. They show her baby. Jin goes off on his own to go try to find the house, see if he can find the husband. Jin finds the husband and learns that Sachiko is not the baby's mom. Sachiko had a stillborn baby, and then while she was at the hospital freaking out over that, she went to look at the babies. She saw the one that was looking back at her smiling and stole it.
Oh no. That's a turn.
Yes. So they're trying to give the baby back to the mom that stole it.
Stole the baby.
Stole the baby.
Man, I feel bad for the actual mother.
And
why was she trying to kill herself?
I think
postpartum. My baby died. I threw another one away.
I think at this point I think she had finally left like the guy that she was living with. It was her husband, and just a series of everybody in this whole story is all these intertwined, just broken people.
Yeah, and I was going to say sometimes you don't really have people are in that situation who get to that point don't really have like a reason.
Compare it to Fisher King. Robin Williams meets Jeff Bridges' character Jack as he's getting ready. He's got cinder blocks on his feet. And he's getting ready to jump into the Hudson River and drown himself. And Perry saves him and starts this whole scenario of kind of similar crazy adventures around the city. And they'd already given the baby to Sachiko when they found out this whole thing about the baby being stolen. So they try to track her back down, and they catch her. And she's just running from them. They end up on the roof of a building where the lady tries to jump off with the baby, and Miyuki catches her and holds her. She can't hold her. The lady just kind of tries to eat the baby. Hannah is there at that point, so Hannah just jumps off the roof, grabs the baby, and because Hannah is this monstrous guy, grabs onto the building, is like able to hold on for a minute, but can't. He falls and grabs like this banner that's sort of like a decoration banner, and looks like he's gonna fall and die with the baby. Gust of wind comes and like inflates the banner like a parachute, and just Mary Poppins Hannah down onto the ground holding the baby. And it's that back and forth of all these things. It's like, oh gosh, this is gonna be terrible. And it's like there's always something kind of miraculous like that happens in this film.
Yeah, what people are saying about it is like it's a modern urban fairy tale. So that kind of stuff makes it feel like a fairy tale.
They all go back to the hospital. The police locate the actual parents that had the baby stolen from them. Of course, they've been looking for the baby the whole time, had no idea what actually happened. Kind of tells them what happens with everything. They want these three. They want to meet these three, and they want them to be the baby's godparents. Thus the name of the movie.
Godfathers.
Police takes them to the trio, and you find out that the officer that had been working with the parents is Miyuki's dad.
Okay.
And they reunite. Um, and then kind of in the whole background of this whole thing, and it's kind of that one little thing, that little fun Japanese thing that leaves you with, what's going to happen, is that the bag that the old guy had given them, you see it on the news at some point. I think they're hanging out like in a little convenience store just to stay warm, and they stay there for a while until the owners are like, "You guys have got to go." It's like you can't stay in the store all night. So he kind of politely shoos them out. But in the background, you see that like there's this random lottery winning ticket, like 30 million yen or whatever it is, that was like this. It was like 1 1 11, like one. It was all ones.
Yeah.
So it was like this really weird scenario with numbers.
A number
When
that someone wouldn't generally go for.
Miyuki had been carrying this bag because I guess Jen had given it to her, and when the whole thing happens, when Hannah falls off the building, she's running because she thinks, you know, oh no, I'm sorry, she has the bag because she's up hanging on the roof too. She drops the bag, or it falls out of her pocket or something, and they come back and kind of show you that's laying on the ground, that the bag this old man gave Jen back at the thing when he just was dying, that he had the winning lottery ticket.
Oh.
And they don't give you like the, does anybody go back and get the ticket?
Yeah.
Kind of leave you with that little fun thing.
That's kind of like one of those things where well they want you to know that they're going to be okay, and how's a way we can let the audience know that things will be all right. Well,
Yeah.
they're going to win the lottery, so it's fine.
The character parts of this are as the part where this is just so well thought out and stuff. Like I said, Jen Jen is very protective of Miyuki, but he's obviously a serial liar. He claims he was a cyclist. Daughter was sick, the whole mob thing. Um, the truth was that he ran a bike shop. He ran just a bicycle shop. He was an alcoholic and he gambled all the time. It got out of control and he ran away and took to the
Lottery
streets.
might not be good for Jen.
Yeah.
It might not be good for him.
He just took to the streets and kind of ran away from the scenario because he was in so much debt that there wasn't anything else he could do. And then when he meets the daughter again, she completely understands the situation because she's a nurse. She's familiar. Apparently, she's in a nurse that deals with, I think the ward that they get taken to as homeless people probably is full of addicts. Kind of implies that she's familiar with addiction. She lets him know that she and her mom are fine. Doesn't really imply that they're going to get back together.
Sometimes you just need closure.
Yeah.
Especially as an audience member.
But the thing that's kind of there all the time with Jen is you can tell that Jen is ashamed of who he is, wanted to be a good dad, and still has that kind of at his core. One of the quotes I took from him is he said, "A child's the only thing that you hold dearer than life itself," and that's why he doesn't want to like give the baby up to foster stuff. He don't want to give it back to. I guess he's afraid that the parents might be sketchy, and that's why he keeps saying he wants to go to the police. I guess maybe he's hoping that maybe there's a better scenario there. And he also, you can just tell that he understands what he threw away with his life. Miyuki, the runaway, you get a little flashback with her. She's this overweight, like kind of, I don't want to say psychotic, but like overreacting kid to everything. Dramatic, I guess is probably the right word.
Okay.
She hates her dad, who is the policeman, because he's working all the time, and I can probably relate to this as a police officer. Father wants to make sure everything in the house is right, and probably a little bit controlling. She doesn't feel that she gets enough attention from him. Probably why she's overweight, but she's not overweight as you meet her in the story because she's been out on the streets for 6 months and is, probably starving to death. But one of her things that happens in her family scenario is she finds like the stray cat. They don't want pets in the house. She brings the cat home, comes home one day, thinks the cat's gone. She thinks her dad got rid of the cat or killed the cat or something, overreacts and stabs him. Stabs him in the kitchen. Takes a scarf that like she had made for him and throws it at him as like, why don't you just wipe up the blood with that? And it's like, it's the only way you'll ever use the scarf. And then that's why she leaves. She realizes that she's a little bit too much, a little over dramatic. And again, shame. That's probably the theme there, where she's shamed of what she did to her dad and the way she treated him. And just goes to the streets instead. He's never done really anything to her other than just work and not be around. Um, there's a scene early in the movie where they're like on the subway with all these people, and they stop next to another. What's a Japan rail? It's above ground. All the people on the train with them are all just covering their faces, and they're like gagging because of how bad the homeless people smell. And the she looks across at the train across from her and sees her dad. Her dad's there wearing the scarf, but you don't understand the whole scarf thing. When that happens, you're like, who's that guy? It's like, what? I don't even know what that's about. But she climbs out of the window and runs away from the train then because of that whole scenario. um Hannah, like I said, Hannah is abandoned, foster care, multiple homes. The mother ran this gay drag bar, and that's where he began to work and where he performed. He became a singer there as well. Punched the patron in a bar fight. He left after the fight to live in a gay relationship with a guy named Ken, who I think was also at the bar. I don't know if it was a patron that came to the bar. I think that's how they kind of portray it. Says that he always wanted a husband and a baby, even though he knew it wasn't possible, and tells everybody that Ken died slipping in the bathroom. But when he meets back to his mother, which is the guy that runs the gay bar that takes care of him, or that took care of him. I can't remember exactly how he says it, but it basically makes it clear that Ken died of AIDS, which again, 80s, 90s, that's that whole world. Very much like in The Fisher King with the cabaret singer that Jeff Bridges asks him, did you go crazy all at once, or has it been a gradual thing? And he tells him that basically he's watched all of his friends die.
Right.
And that's the scenario of this. He had nowhere else to go, so he went to the streets, and that's where he met Jen. And I think he kind of fell in love with Jen, but Jen wasn't having any of a 6'5" dude dressed like a lady, so they just kind of became friends. That's kind of how they got together, and then Miyuki joined them later. And that's probably because, again, Jen was just protective of young kids, and I think he knew that if Hannah stayed on the street, or not Hannah, Miyuki stayed on the street as a 15 or 16-year-old, that awful things were going to happen to her. So he kind of became her protector. Yeah, you see him kind of Hannah cough up blood multiple times, and I think it becomes very, very likely pretty clear that he has AIDS as well. And I think that's
blood, you think,
probably why you don't get another kind of comeback to his story, because there's probably not a lot of story left there. And the movie does try to leave you with a sort of feel good, happy ending to it. And this is the thing, I think I said something earlier in the last show about how wikis are destroying everything on the planet.
Yeah.
The wikis have tried to erase so much of this movie, and I don't understand why they don't want the movie to exist as it is. They call all of the guys in the bar, they call them women. They've gone back and updated it to say that Hannah is a transgender woman, instead of just calling him what he is, which is a guy. They don't even like add into the parts of the story about the AIDS being part of it. They just say that,
just ignore it. They
just say that Ken slipped. The background is that her husband or her lover or whatever it was slipped and died in the bathroom. And it's like, that's not at all what happened. That's just that's another thing that all these characters had their little stories that they were telling everybody to present themselves as whatever they were presenting themselves as. And then you find out the truth that all of these situations were kind of situations that they're, you can't control the fact that you grew up in foster homes and then you're raised by a guy that runs a gay bar. But that's the scenario that had this, and that kind of led to his scenario. And the point kind of this whole movie, and again, it's very similar to kind of what I come back to with The Fisher King. They all refer to themselves, Jen does multiple times, he calls himself a trash person. They all kind of refer to themselves as trash off and on through this movie because of their lifestyles, and I think the sort of self-hate that kind of comes along with being an alcoholic,
Right.
being a runaway that mistreated her father, almost killed him, being a choosing a lifestyle that kind of took you down a thing where you and all of your friends are dying of AIDS, and probably more self-hate and all of that than I can probably really even comprehend. Is it Christmas, and that's when this takes place. They find the baby on, I can't remember if it's Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, probably early in the morning on Christmas Day. Christmas often highlights how alone these people are,
Mm-hmm.
and it highlights for lots of people how
Yep.
alone they are, and that if you are feeling homeless because of your scenario, that I think that's kind of the allegory to take from this movie, is that the homelessness that's used in this is a good way to kind of represent how so many people feel like they don't have homes because they're alone for a variety of reasons, and that God exists and He made you. He tells you in the Bible that you have a purpose and you're loved, and whatever shame that you face, and shame is a big part of this movie, that He is just a call away, just like Jen's daughter was just a call away. Hannah's home was just literally around the block, was a call away. All of these things were just right there, but you have to take that step to kind of get there. Um, and in every scenario there, I think it kind of represents too that, to me anyway, it's a good way to represent that God will take you back no matter what. All of these people they didn't hold anything against any of these people. As soon as they showed back up, they were glad to see them. They brought them back in, and it illustrates this with all three of them. Jen's daughter accepts him. Hannah's drag dad welcomes him back, even though he thought he couldn't go back. You actually saw Miyuki picked up a newspaper at one point and saw that her dad had been running ads in the paper all the time, just saying that the cat was back home. He'd been doing this for months. The cat's name was Angel, and it was just literally running like a little classified ad that said Miyuki Angel is back home. And she actually saw the ad at one point. She called to the house at one point too, and didn't say anything, and you could tell, like, as soon as he recognized that it was his daughter on the phone, that he was you could hear the worry in his voice and the concern for her, and she hung up on him, of course. And the journey with this baby was God bringing them back to their family and keeping them together and giving them a purpose kind of along the way to help them raise this baby, which is kind of what ties it all back together, is they get to be this baby's godparents. And all these provincial things that happen gives them this reason to live, reason to kind of go on, even though they've kind of thrown away a lot of those reasons already in their lives. And really not a better way to tell that story than with a baby at Christmas time.
Yeah.
I mean, you get your baby in your manger story.
Well, each of the Godfathers, their stories very much sound like the prodigal son.
Yeah.
It's your,
Yeah.
no matter what, you can always come back to, hopefully, your family. You can always come back to God, and God will accept you and won't judge you for the life you've led if you turn to Him. Yeah.
This movie was Linus's speech.
Yeah, right.
It's the reminder of what this whole time is about. It's not, Christmas isn't about Black Friday sales and how much stuff you're getting or how much stuff you're giving to somebody else. It's really just about connections and spending time with family and bringing your family back to God. And it's a great film for that. And I don't know if that's why these wikis attack this movie the way they do, is because they understand that, and they just can't deal with that. Or I guess there's a lot of people that watch this thing that are homeless in their own version, and it's unfortunate, but it doesn't matter who you make the call to. There's somebody to call. Don't have a person to call to. You can go to a church, and I promise you'll be mauled by people that want to find out who you are and how you are and what they can do for you. I've said before, I like to go around to churches and kind of go to the back row, looking at me. I don't sneak into places very well. I've visited several over the last few weeks. I like to sort of scout things out. I don't know if we're ever going to join another one again. I just kind of like sampling what everybody does. But I walk in the door and I'm there for 30 seconds, and you can see like those couple of old ladies or a couple of guys that are kind of looking like, oh, who's that? And it's not like, who's that weird dude? It's like, let's go talk to him. And it's comforting to see that kind of thing, because if I was alone and was homeless, and whatever definition of that you want to claim, it's reassuring to me to see that that's instantly recognized when you walk into a building and there are people that are reaching out to you. That's the whole purpose of it, of churches, I think.
Well, the movie sounds like it's a really, really well written film.
It is.
Mm.
Everything Satoshi Kon does
Yeah.
is really kind of next level. Sometimes on levels that maybe you don't fully understand.
Well, he's got a pretty limited filmography since he
Yeah,
died.
I mean, what could this dude have done if he continued living? He died when he was 46. This movie, like, this is an easy interpretation for me, because this is almost an anime version of The Fisher King.
Mm-hmm.
It's a movie that I've immersed myself in for years before I ever saw Tokyo Godfathers. And once I saw that, I'm just like, wow. It's like, are people making movies for me at this point, or what? Or these are just these movies that speak to me? And I don't know how many times I had not owned this until recently, but I've just been able to watch it on different services and different places over the years. I don't know how many times I've seen it, but it is really good. And it's kind of interesting. End of Fisher King, they're back in the park, laying naked in the park, breaking clouds.
Mm-hmm.
Ends with all the buildings lighting up and fireworks and stuff going off. The end of this movie goes back to a Tokyo skyline. The buildings start dancing back and forth while this like weird Japanese like string band plays Ode to Joy from Beethoven.
Okay.
It's like the coolest version. I have no idea if they're singing what they're singing, because they're singing in Japanese. I don't know if they've made up words or what. I need to look into some point what that song is and what who made that song and all that stuff. It's a thing I always look forward to at the end of both of those movies, is them back at the park and the Fisher King, and he's like, say goodnight, Jack. And he's like, goodnight, Jack. And then all the buildings light up and they start shooting off fireworks. And the same thing with this, all the little buildings they start dancing back and forth to that. Is that Symphony number 9? The Ode to Joy?
I have no idea.
I
am not a classical music person.
I think that's right. Don't quote me on that.
Ode to Joy is Symphony number 9?
It's a section of Symphony number 9. Symphonies are collections of pieces, and I think Ode to Joy is that thing
says,
that you hear.
Symphony number 9.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know that song. It's
joyful.
That's Ode to Joy. It's in Raising Arizona. It's in so many movies. The amazing Christmas film. It's takes place at Christmas. It kind of hits on all the notes. I think it really is valuable in that point of where Christmas time is so sad for so many people. And it's not just that people that have made mistakes and are homeless, air quotes, because of those mistakes. You get people who, as you get older, your family
dies off.
Your family dies off. Your friends die off. Mm-hmm. You can be alone and homeless. Again, air quotes, for so many reasons. And it really is. Again, don't know if that's what he intended with the film. That's what I take from it, is he's trying to point out to you that God is literally a phone call away. You can just, however you seek it out, whether it's through a friend or through a church or through somebody you used to know, somebody you think is mad at you that you walked away from for whatever reason. There's lots of options to fix that, and a really beautiful story. And what's different with this, Fisher King is kind of jarring. You get some kind of violent scenes in that are really stick with you. This takes you to that edge where you think you're getting ready to get one of these like scenes and be like, oh no, it's like, don't do this to me, please. And they don't. They find a way out each time from tragedy and kind of buffer it with comedy. Same way Fisher King has hilarious scenes in it, but this is kind of a different way. This is much more acceptable for a younger audience. I don't like the palette of the whole having to explain to a child why the guy's dressed up like a woman and what that bar is and all that stuff. But
I mean, thinking back when I was a kid and
Yeah.
I'd see movies and whatnot with that kind of
Yeah.
theme in it, I didn't really question it. I mean, I just kind of took it for what it was.
I've always assumed probably what he was kind of portray it as there is like that's just a part of a city.
Yeah.
That's a little underworld underbelly of a city.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a thing that's going to be out here in the country where we are. It's
Like I don't ever remember, like I remember seeing movies and shows with like drag queens and stuff when I was a kid. I don't ever remember asking my parents like, why is that man dressed like a woman? I never remember doing that. It was just
yeah,
I took it as it was presented to me,
yeah.
and I think kids will probably do the same.
Yeah, and it opens up at least that conversation that it'd be better for you to have with your child than some 28-year-old teacher in a school that's trying to get your child to make some decisions that they shouldn't be involved in. So from that standpoint, maybe it's a better way to introduce something like that so you can have that conversation at home and not have some female teacher that has a haircut like mine with a nose ring and her hair's pink trying to have that conversation with your child that has a question and putting all sorts of thoughts in their head. But
I'm sure there's all sorts of people who have gone through all this with the themes with Tokyo Godfathers, but kind of talk about they all seem all three of the Godfathers seem to be on a similar character arc.
yeah,
It's just you kind of see it 3 times. I'm be interested to know if that has anything to do with like the three wise men, which there really weren't three, but whatever. But also, they each find redemption through trying to take care of this child, and I mean that's on a Jesus allegory. I mean that's right there. It's
redemption,
right there.
redemption through the baby Jesus.
Absolutely.
I like their
I,
what's the line from Ricky Bobby when they're praying is like, "Dear Lord, sweet baby
sweet
Jesus,
baby Jesus.
laying there in your little fleece gold."
I'd like to know and I'll think about it a little bit more when I watch it. But like the mother throwing the child away, and then there being an actual mother that relationship there that has to have some sort of meaning.
Yeah, I mean the
I mean
mother that took the
the
baby.
mother could be the world. The
Yeah,
mother that took the baby could be the world
yeah,
through Jesus away.
yeah.
Yeah, as the world throws Christ away. Yeah.
She took the baby after her baby died and already was probably in a pretty sketchy home scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Got this baby, thought, oh, this would be great, and again, much like Hannah, realized I can't do this. I'm not. At least Sachiko was actually made to do that. Hana is not, but neither one of them were ready personally to try to do that, and so she did the. That's another allegory for that, and that's what a lot of people do when they think that they're not ready for something like that. Is they throw them away. They throw them away in different, more violent ways. Um, I can say as a parent of two that you're never ready. However much preparing you think you can do, the first time you have a baby that stays up all night crying and you can't make them stop is one of the most terrifying things that you'll ever live through. And whether or not you have the money to go out and buy them $4,000 worth of toys at Christmas, or you have $40 to spend on them at Christmas, that it doesn't matter. They are going to think of you like you're the greatest thing that's ever happened on the planet, and they're going to look to you like you're a god, because if you spend that time with them and you take care of them, you are their world. And there's no preparing for any of that. You have to work your way through it. By the time you get the parents that have had a second, sometimes a third kid, they're like, you're sitting there like trying to potty train your first kid and obsessing over everything, and third one's like, they'll figure it out. When they get tired of walking around in that diaper full of crap, they'll they'll work it out. it's a it's a thing that comes with experience. It's the best thing that's ever happened in my life, to go through those experiences and all the joy and the terror and the fear and the worrying and the hope and all that stuff. There's nothing more human than any of that, and it's worth every moment of the fear and the worry and the dread and all that stuff, just to hear a baby giggle baby laughing is the purest, happiest thing I think I've ever. I go to YouTube when sometimes I can't find anything else to do and find videos of babies laughing and watch that for. If you need something to cheer you up when you're down, go to YouTube and search baby laughing and just watch somebody tearing a piece of paper and a kid just cackling while you tear a piece of paper. It's better than a drug. It's great.
So I was looking at the writers because, like I said, it seemed like it's a very tight movie from what you were saying, and it
Not super long. Was
Satoshi Kon and Kiko Nobumoto. Okay, look that person up.
Yeah.
Cowboy Bebop.
Oh wow.
Macross Plus, personal favorite of mine.
Wow.
Let's see.
It's, again, not trying to say things about Satoshi Kon that I do know or I don't know, but you kind of get the feeling of anything that he does that he doesn't accept.
Mediocre.
Yeah, he expects excellence out of everything, so he probably pursues excellent people to do his thing.
Yeah, Wolf's Rain was right before Tokyo Godfather.
Have you seen Wolf's Rain?
No.
Oh my lord, that's a long
all 26 episodes.
That's a long slog, but it's worth. I haven't done it for a while. I've got it over there, and it's so good.
Samurai Champloo, Space Dandy.
Yeah.
So that prolific. That person, Keiko Nobumoto, prolific.
Yeah.
All right.
One of the things I said something about you probably want to watch it as a sub also, is he was very specific. Like the one that plays Miyuki.
Mm-hmm.
I saw like an interview at some point where he was talking with that girl, and how like he had seen her on a TV show or something, some other kind of media, while he was like kind of working out the idea for the show. Is like he said he heard this voice. It's like, that's Miyuki. So he went and like tracked this girl down. And was like, you need to come be Miyuki. She had never voice acted.
Oh wow!
Like he just like, I don't know how obsessive, how crazy this guy was. Usually, kind of genius works have come from people that are kind of on that borderline of being genius and probably a little bit insane. But he was very specific with the people that he cast for Hannah and for Jen. So it's probably worth going through and watching it one time in Japanese just to get that sampling of the people he sought out to voice them, because he controlled that directly. And the English voice acting in it is very good as well. But I do like that. I think a lot of times you get some of the humor comes across a little bit better in the way the Japanese deliver the lines, but easier to watch it if you watch it dubbed once and get the movie in your head and then go back and watch it subs. You're not. When I watch a movie subbed, I'm so focused on reading the lines sometimes that sometimes it's hard to pay attention to things. That's my issue with watching a subbed thing. I like to know what's going on and not have to just be sitting there trying to make sure I can read the line before it scrolls off, because I'm not a very fast reader. So
if you get a sub that matches the dub, there are people who have the sub on while listening to the dub.
Yeah.
It's like a new way to, not really new, I guess, but that's a way a lot of people watch TV now. Is
I can't do that if they don't match word for word.
Yeah, if it don't match word for word, don't even try it.
I've seen some that I've tried doing that before, and like they're not saying the exact same thing, and it's so distracting. It really locks your brain up. I think it's like a left brain, right brain thing, and you're just like, I can't even process what's happening. Like, turn that off.
Right. Man, well,
kind of a long on that one, but I think it's worth
a little bit.
Kind of worth it though. It
sounds like a wonderful film. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Do you how many of Satoshi Kon's works do you own?
Because there's only outside of I don't have Paranoia Agent, and I think we've got them all.
Let's say, because there's only like 10 of them. So
I don't have 10. I've got Millennium Actress, Perfect Blue, Paprika, Godfathers. I think those are the main ones I have.
Sounds to me like it'd be a worthwhile endeavor to complete that collection.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right, so we're going from like the creme de la creme of anime
to the trash.
To like soggy French fries. And I found out about this when we were looking for anime that takes place at Christmas time, this is called My Santa. Okay, it's came out in
I
2000.
think you sent me like these two pictures. I think I
Mhm.
looked at the two like things. I was like, maybe I can do the Sanda one if you do the other one, because the other one looks like it's some like girl thing. Kind of wish I'd maybe done the other one, but I did Sanda.
Okay, well, well, this was this My Santa's 2 episodes only.
Oh, it's only two.
It's
Okay.
only 2 episodes,
Maybe I
so it's
should have
like
done that. I could have tolerated two more than the 9 that I sat through.
it's like an hour, so that's fine. It's on the Internet Database. That was the only place I was able to find it, the Internet Archive or whatever
Okay.
that we've talked about before. They do have it in multiple languages, so you got to kind of poke around if you want to find the English dub.
I'd love to watch it in German.
That would be interesting. I found one that had like it was like dubbed and then it was dubbed over. So you had two languages being spoken at the same time. That's what you get when it's like all just people doing it, not an organization.
My biggest regret growing up is that we were given the choices of doing Spanish or French, and I did French because I didn't want to do Spanish, and my people were German. I wish I had explored learning German because it's an awesome language to listen to.
When I in middle school when I was given the opportunity, they gave like it was French, Spanish, Latin, or Japanese.
I think maybe we still had Latin. We were not offered.
I did Latin. That was fun
Yeah.
for like translating old words and stuff, but useless.
Uh,
unless you went into like
don't know
linguistics or something.
I would love to have Japanese as an option, but I don't know how you could have learned it in high school because it
This
is.
was middle school when it was offered to me.
It's a
It
very
was like 7th grade.
difficult language to come into once you're older and try to learn.
I was gonna say, I mean, a 7th grader's brain is a little bit more plastic than
Yeah, that's true.
a 9th, 10th grader. So anyway, this basic premise is you're following a character named Santa, and he was named Santa because he was born on December 24th. That's his birthday. And the anime starts on December 24th. His parents are just off. They're like business people. So he's just alone. And he hates Christmas because he always feels alone at Christmas. And so for some reason, he's at this mall. And this girl approaches him and claims to be a Santa in training. Now, starting off, this is you're talking about how, and we're going to talk about this in Sanda as well. How like there are things about anime that people who don't like anime hate about anime.
Yeah.
The character, her name is Mai. That's why it's got my MAI Santa, My Santa. Okay,
Gotcha.
You get it. Recently saw a meme where someone said the worst thing about learning Japanese is finding out that every anime character's name is a pun of some sort. Like, yeah, probably. So she screams everything, and this is also a problem with English dubs.
Nuts.
Just loud, excited, high pitched the entire time. It was a hard listen.
Yeah,
It really was.
There's been animes that I've turned off in the first episode. I'm like,
you probably would have turned this off.
Can't do it. Sorry, I can't be yelled at by these shrill voices for 25 minutes.
Now the character Santa, the male character, I actually really enjoyed his voice work. He delivered it straight. He wasn't screaming all the time, and that kind of made the juxtaposition between him and Mai even worse. So she's a Santa in training, and she's like, "You're going to spend the night. You're going to spend the night with me, so you can be happy." And then like people hear her say that, and they assume, and she gets mad, so she punches him. It's this kind of anime.
Yeah.
I think they're called Slice of Life. Okay, so. And
most of those, if I can get through a second, maybe a third episode, that's usually all I got.
Yeah. So she does have like genie-like powers, and she can like manifest things that starts with San. It's like Santa.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how did that work out between English stuff and Japanese stuff, because they did work it in there. I don't know if maybe her manifestation of things that start with San is different in Japanese. Doesn't matter. She has a wrestler sidekick, but it turns out to just be a stuffed animal reindeer. Okay. that she has like on her shoulder. For some reason, his name is Pedro. And for some reason, when she announces, it says that she has her friend Pedro, it's this like big Mexican wrestler that it shows. and then she shows his read. I don't understand why. Anyway, it sounds like
It's one of those things that you hope that maybe there's a manga that it has a little more detail, but there's
maybe
probably not.
pro-
Sometimes they just throw these absurd things in, and you're just like,
well,
wow,
like
what is that?
in both episodes, there's this man who drops a cake, and the cake gets messed up, and then the Mai confronts the man because he's wanting to beat up Santa, and she confronts him, and there's like a mob behind him that speaks in unison. I sound insane talking about this.
Yeah.
But anyway, it doesn't matter. Santa is sad because his friends don't really care about him. He's like they're the type of friends who invite you to their party but don't care if you're there and all that kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
So Mai decides to throw him a birthday party since his friends don't care about him. So they were back at like his apartment, and she's throwing him at a party, manifesting all this stuff. And they start talking about the meaning of Christmas, and then it gets like weirdly touching. They bring it down, not touching.
I'm still kind of scarred by the Sanda ones.
Yeah.
So when you say touching, I'm like, oh god, please no more.
But they straight up talk about the reason for Christmas. They say it's celebrating the birth of Christ, talking about all the lights that people put out, saying that they put the light out because we gather together with our families as we look to light the shining lights of Christ as being the reason to hope. And it's like, wow, that's okay. I did not expect that from this anime. And then she kisses him and gives him some of her happiness power. And right at that point, he gets a phone call from a girl that he likes. And he's like, well, I'm going to go to her because I like her. And Mai gets upset because he says he doesn't believe in her powers, even though he spent the day. And they've only known each other like 6 hours. They spent the day, her manifesting stuff. He doesn't believe her. Whatever. It's contrived. And he goes to this girl's house, and all of his friends are there, and they're throwing like a party. And it's like a party they threw for him, but he never shows, but they still throw it because, hey, it's Christmas Eve. And so he kind of finds out that people do like him. And so it's a sort of character development for that guy. And the girl that he was hearing on the phone says, well, I didn't call you. And he realizes that, oh, well, that was Mai's power, happiness power. So he realized, okay, well, Mai does care about me again after like 6 hours. And he goes back to her and kisses her to give her back her magical powers. And she does this, like, you know, the anime trope of like, what do you call it? Like magical girl transformations.
Yeah.
She does like a magical girl transformation. And now she's like a sexy Santa. And they like fly off. The pager, or the little reindeer, becomes an actual reindeer. And they fly off and deliver presents to all the kids of the area. And then they go like into the upper atmosphere, and there's all these other Santas. So apparently like people get trained to be Santa, and they have like their regions that they take care of. And
I think we're going to make the case on these for our list of episodes that like do not show these to people that are on the fence about anime.
No, this is, oh geez, I don't know, man.
I can picture everything there because I've watched enough anime, and
all these tropes.
All of it. But I can just imagine somebody that's like, I was going to watch anime. He's like, but listen to this. I'd be like, nah, I'm not watching that.
Santa gets a message from his mom saying they're not going to be home this year. She apologizes to him and stuff like that. And then as they fly off, the episode ends of he's fallen asleep like on her lap, and she says something like, if we believe in Santa, the spirit of Santa stays alive, or something like that. I'm like, I felt like it was a fever dream, man. This thing was wild.
That's one of those things that's like, I've partaken in some alcohol over the years. That's as much as I've ever done.
Yeah.
You imagine watching something like that under the influence of some kind of drug, and just I can't imagine it. Would that like be mind blowing, or would it terrify you, or like what?
I don't know. Manic is the only word I could really come up with to describe it. It was all over the place.
Yeah, it may very well be that there's just creators in anime that are drug fueled,
maybe
psychotic people that are just making this crazy stuff.
And so at the end of the first episode, after everything's done, Santa's at home, and you hear a knock, and he opens it up, and Mai is there, and apparently she used all her Santa power, so she can't get back to the North Pole. So she has to stay with him.
This is all still
This is one episode.
One of the 2 episodes.
Takes place over like one day. And the next episode takes place over an entire year. So I don't know if they were thinking like these were like pilot episodes and they were going to try to make a whole series out of it.
I wonder if they were kind of throwing it out there as here's a potential series, and somebody was like, nah, let's not do that.
At the end of, I'm kind of jumping ahead of here, but at the end of the second episode, they talk about in the next episode, and there's like a kaiju Medusa thing, and she says in episode 3, wait, we're making more of these. So it's it becomes very self-referential and aware,
almost like a anime Deadpool. Kind of.
It kind of turns to that. But the second episode is, well, what do all slice of life anime seasons need? A beach episode. So this is 6 months later, and they're at the beach, and this Sherry shows
Shirley
up.
Playing volleyball so they can jump up and down.
They do play volleyball.
Yeah.
There is another Santa that shows up, Sherry, and she comes to the territory she's sent by like the Santa organization to get Mai to come back, because apparently Mai didn't finish her schooling or whatever. She didn't finish her training, and Sherry's all trained up. She's good to go. And so she's there to tell her that she needs to go back and also challenge her authority for her territory. Same kind of character, just completely over the top, very, very annoying. They're best friends, but they're antagonizing each other all the time.
Yeah.
And there's a woman there named Miss Noel, and she tells Mai that she has to return to school by midnight the following Christmas Eve, so like in 6 months. So she's giving her time to stay with Sanda because they're in love at this point. Let me see. I'm going to try to... let's see. Okay. So once she gets this information, she's all sad and everything, but then there's like a time skip to December. Well, they've been together for a few more months, and now it's almost time for her to go back. And her friend Sherry's been with them this whole time. So she does this thing where she like freezes time and lets them, Santa and Mai, have like one last night together or whatever.
Yeah.
And it turns out that Mai didn't even need to go back to school, because the person who needed to go back to school was her younger sister, whose name is Mai. And so she gets to stay with Santa. It's insane. Oh, and then you find out that Mai, after she leaves, gets these magical powers, and this is where the kaiju comes in, where her sleigh and her reindeer turns into a giant robot, and they're fighting the Medusa kaiju thing. It's a fever dream, dude. It's weird.
The last thing that I watched on purpose that kind of fell into that category, and I cannot remember what it was called, and I'm pretty sure it was on Netflix, and you probably know what I'm talking about. It was a thing like where something happened, like there was an angel chained to this kid, and like panties kept flying off and away. Do you remember what that was?
Yes.
It was so crazy and off the wall that I watched like maybe 4 episodes of it, because it was more of a curiosity at the point of watching like after the first one. I'm like, what is this? I was like, is this serious?
It's a Horizon or something?
I cannot remember what that thing was, but it kept having these like little scenes. I was like, I'm not watching any more of this. Then they do something that was just funny that would just make me just guffaw, laugh out loud, and I was like, gosh almighty, man, why am I watching this? It's like, I cannot remember what it was like. Heaven's Lost Property.
That's it. Yes.
Was that the name of it?
Yes. I'm bringing up a YouTube video.
Somehow or another, there's an angel chained to a kid. I don't know where that went. Don't want to know what that was about. I just remember I can't even remember what made panties fly away, but they were literally flying away like butterflies and stuff. I was just like, that whole genre of anime is like and there needs to be another word other than anime for that. That needs to be something that when you go into an anime section, it's not included with other things, because
Well, anime does have different genres,
Yeah.
and slice of life,
Yeah,
I
slice
think
of life.
is
I've seen that actually listed on Crunchyroll, and I've never. You look at just the covers of the properties they have, and I'm like, nah, not doing that. So
the slice of life anime. I got introduced to slice of life through a manga called My Hina. Back in early 2000s, when I first got into manga, I was reading Priest, and I was like, well, I've done reading Priest, I want to read something else. And My Hina had like all these volumes. I picked up a couple of those.
that's generally the same thing too, where you see all the people that either have dog ears or wolf ear or cat ears too, mostly in those genres. And I'm sure that probably means something. I don't want to know what that means either. I just I like historical things. I like fighting stuff. I like big robot Gundam type anime. I don't like warrior Santa Claus beach anime.
It was the anime it really reminded me of is there was an anime I watched called Excel Saga, and Excel was very very much like a Deadpool kind of thing where it was, excuse the phrase, but like it was like I'll just say they were making fun of anime and anime tropes.
Yeah,
like in the very beginning of Excel Saga, Excel dies, and then the universe itself goes like, well, let's try that again.
Okay.
And the universe is like a galaxy with two arms. It's ridiculous. And that's very much what my Santa reminded me of. I won't say I hated it. I've never recommended it to anybody. It's goofy. It's fun. It's slop, really. Yeah, it was 50 minutes out of my life.
Well,
whatever.
I've got your transition for you.
Yeah.
I will say I hated it. On our next one.
On Sanda.
Sanda.
Okay, before you get into the hate, I love the animation on this.
It's Science Saru.
Yeah, I love the animation.
When I saw that Science Saru did
I love the audio. Yeah.
Science Saru, that name carries weight for me because you're talking about Devilman Crybaby, Dan to Dan, Japan Sinks, all great watches, plus a myriad of other things they've done I have not watched. And this one kind of makes me wonder that maybe I need to vet some of the things that they do because I didn't know that they did things like this. And what the reason I point out Science Saru is they have this really kind of unique, crisp, really kind of more angular defined characters that are, it's very beautiful animation. And I'll give that to Sanda. The animation of it is
great animation.
It's crazy.
Okay, so the first two episodes, after the first two episodes, I was in. I was like, yes.
I was interested enough.
In the first two.
I didn't, and mostly because the second episode kind of started to describe this world to me.
Yeah.
That I was like,
it's a weird world.
Well, okay. That whole idea is that there's 50,000 kids left in Japan, or less than 50,000. So they pamper them all. They keep them in these academies. They arrange their marriages.
From infancy.
Yeah. And kids that even go bad are allowed to kind of get away with it because we can't afford to get rid of any kids. So there's actually kids that have killed adults with no consequences. And that was the first time I was like kind of raising an eyebrow. I was like, that's not very reassuring sounding.
And because of this, the way they're pampering these children, they're literally raising them in a way to where like they don't allow them to sleep.
Yeah.
Because not allowing them to sleep in this world slows down their maturity process.
Yeah. And they're controlling thought, controlling what they see, what they believe in and stuff. And I guess that's kind of where this is supposed to tie back into a Santa Claus story is that the main character is Kazushiki Sanda.
Yeah, Sanda.
Yeah,
Kazushi. Kazushi. Yeah, Kazushi. Sanda's Kazushi. Sanda.
Bless you. Sanda is supposed to be a descendant of Santa that I guess is going to develop these powers. But you get into all these
I'm absolutely on board with the whole idea of the Santa being this like latent genetic thing that people have. I thought that concept was great.
The first episode, I was like, wow, this is kind of hard to process. And then the second one kind of comes back and fills in a little bit. So I guess after 2 episodes, I was like, well, this is
Okay,
interesting enough. But
she.
it was like he had to have something red on him
Mhm.
to be able to become it. And it starts off with like this girl like stabbing him.
Yeah, Shiori killed him. Like she stabbed him right in the chest. Why did she do that? I mean, she was convinced he was Santa,
I,
right? But like, what? I don't get why she thought he's Santa. I should kill him. I should stab him in the chest. I don't understand that part.
I stopped trying to understand this one probably somewhere between 3 and 4. Um, the whole idea of this, you know, it seems like it's trying to say something about like birth rates in Japan, the economy in Japan, and the way society is kind of developed there, making some kind of a statement about authority over children. It seemed like it laid out all these things. It was like, you got my interest. This is interesting,
It's an interesting premise, absolutely.
interesting like framework for storytelling. And then the rest of the series happens, and I'm sorry, I thought it was garbage. I watched up through 9 just to finish it because I was sitting in front of the TV after I was ready to give up on it. I'm like, there's only like 3 left. I was like, I'll finish it just to see where this goes. And of course, it's not finished because it's still ongoing, and
Yeah.
apparently it's going to keep on going, which is
Well,
ashamed.
The last, I think, December 20th, I think. So by the time this goes up, it'll be finished.
There was way too much of these adult and child themes mixed into it,
Mm-hmm.
where
Oh yeah, if a person is uncomfortable with like the idea of grooming and stuff like that, that's in this.
that's in this, and then the lesbian stuff was just way over the top. I think I wrote down here somewhere, this is grooming 101.
Well, I mean, the characters,
It's,
one of the main characters, Shiori, is focuses very much on the fact that like we're only children. We're children.
yeah.
We're 14, and the what's her name? Ichi Ono.
Yeah, oh
Yeah.
no.
The show starts and everybody thinks she's dead, and she does come back at some point, and she starts to mature because she's been sleeping,
Yeah.
and so she starts to call herself an adult, but she's still 14.
Yeah.
And Sanda, well, I don't think we mentioned this. Sanda transforms into Santa Claus.
Yeah.
And so like
When
I
he
think
transforms into it, he's
he's
like
this
a
huge
Hulk Hogan size.
Yeah, it's got all ripped and just huge man. And at one point he crashes through the ceiling and he's naked in front of the
There's
the
a
entire school.
whole fight scene where he's fighting in front of his other friends here.
Yeah. Now it doesn't show anything. They do have creative censoring throughout all the episodes, but the implications are there that it's happening in the story to the characters, and it's very much, and they admit this is inappropriate. I mean, that's a part of the show.
He talks multiple times about
the size of his junk.
Yeah, and it's just Shiori Furimura. She's the big girl. She's like 14 years old. Girl. She's 5'11". She's lanky. She's got a deep voice. The show is just like, it's just telling young girls that if you feel awkward, that's a unique thing to you, and the only people that can help you do this is other girls and all these letter groups. And
well, they show that both she and Ichi are like interested. They're both interested in like the male body and stuff like that, and because of that shared interest, they become physically involved with one another. Yeah, so it's very like I was saying, it's the themes are uncomfortable.
The wrong people are celebrating this, which is exactly why.
Oh yeah,
I think you should stay away from this. This whole thing of like trying to convince these girls that if you feel awkward or you're developed weird and all this stuff that you're gay. It's like, no.
Right.
It's like what you're missing is that every teenager on the planet has those exact same feelings, and that it's your duty as parents and adults to help them work through that and let them understand that will pass. And you don't take advantage of them at a time when they're mentally weak and really easily influenced, and try to shape them into your little weird ideology. and that's just like what this show is doing with all of the characters, and it's just like
Well,
it was really making me mad watching it. I was like, oh my gosh, it's
well,
like how much longer is this?
you could take the perspective because all these children are in this school. They don't have parents. They're separated from the parents. The only parental figure is like that 90-year-old man that has
Which is even
swapped out
creepier.
every part of his body except his hands.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could take the perspective that this is showing what will happen without guidance if kids are left up to their own to try to figure this stuff out on their own.
It shows to me what's so frightening about like our public school system
Yeah.
is you just get all these like young teachers and other people that are influencing. They've isolated themselves because they've embraced these lifestyles, and now they're looking for children for friendships and relationships, and it just seems like that's interwoven into this too. And every teacher in a school, even with or without parents, should be a source of authority and stability for kids, and that's not at all going on in this show. It's I think I showed you right before we started watching this, or before we started recording today, that on Prime, this says that it's 13 plus, and that is absolutely not a 13 plus show.
No, not only for the sexual content, but the violence as well.
They're
Like
just shooting point blank people in the face with guns.
Like in the first episode, I think it's the first episode. There's this guy who shoots Sanda, the main character, and he's a 14-year-old boy, and he is drawn to be a small boy, and then they mention that a lot, that he's a boy of small stature, and the dude just like falls over with just blood spurting out of his arm, I think, and it's just a very visceral scene,
Yeah.
and it's it's not good. You got limbs getting chopped off. One guy gets disemboweled. The headmaster gets disemboweled at one point.
Yeah.
It's a rough anime.
They're
I don't.
They're talking about their
It's not 13
parts
plus.
all the time.
Yeah.
And way too much detail.
Mm-hmm.
There's a scene with this tall girl and the girl that's the runaway, or the one that gets lost, the Ono girl.
Yeah, after she comes back and she's slept more, so she's matured more. The things they're doing to these children, I'm guarantee people are clinging on to like the fact that they're not sleeping, so their puberty is being blocked. I guarantee people are making that connection because it's pretty easy to make. Her puberty comes on very quickly, and it seems like within a couple of days, she develops completely through puberty. There's this one scene.
They're comparing each other's bodies. They're sitting there like they get naked in front of each other, and it's like you don't see you see everything except for
it's all censored.
You see everything except for the parts that would make it be an R-rated thing, and that's way too much for a 13 plus show.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, you're sitting there with Sanda in the front of the whole student body, naked from behind, so you're seeing his rear end.
Butt, yeah. When they show him naked from the front, it's just like shadow in his crotch.
When the girls are doing their thing, they're panning down to where it stops right at where her
cleavage
chest would be, and then it'll come up from the other side and stop just below it. And they show one time where they're showing her from the side, and there's like a little moonbeam coming through and just kind of whiting out that area. Mm-hmm. And it's like 13 plus my butt. And they're actually touching each other in bed in a dream that starts the whole puberty thing, like something you'd see on like a late night cable movie. And I'm like, no, it's like what bothers me with this is not so much even what's going on between the characters, is that these are adults that put this all on paper and drew it. And that's
the author. I have this up. Let's see. The author of Sanda is Paru Itagaki. She's a woman that writes these serial, like for Shoujin Jump and all that.
Yeah, I'm guessing she doesn't have a boyfriend. Would be my
I don't know.
Thought on that one. But
Shonen Champion Comics is the publication.
To veil this in a thing that's supposed to be a story about Christmas and Santa. They keep coming back about how kids need to believe in Christmas and all this stuff and miracles, and then here's 10 more minutes of lesbians making out, and I'm like, what is...
Well, the Shiori asks, and one of the first thing, because getting back to the actual Santa stuff, when Sanda starts to become Santa, if a child asks him for something, he gets this uncontrollable urge to give that child that thing.
Yeah.
It's like a part of who he is. He grants wishes of children.
But there's people that ask for like his fingers, and he wants to cut off.
He
his
wants
finger.
to cut. Yeah. One girl, one of the girls that's in like class 10, I think they call it, that are children who have killed adults, and there's like 20 of them. There's a lot of them, and she asks Santa for his thumbs, and he's totally like he's considering it. He's at one point he's like, "Do you need both of them?" It's like, "What, dude? You're insane." But back to the Santa thing. The Shiori, she asks Sanda for Ichi to come back. That was like the first wish.
Yeah.
And I think it was at the end of episode 9 where all like they do the exploring of each other's body and stuff like that. She runs to Sanda and asks him to bring her back to the way she was. Like she's asking Sanda to like take her from maturity back to adolescence. That's kind of like where the 9th episode ended.
I remember he turned into like Black Sanda, and he was becoming kind of getting in touch
training
with his darker powers, and I'm like, if there's a magic, if supposed to be some message in here about the magic of Christmas, it was buried under so much depravity and just sexual illness that I have no idea.
So I definitely agree that it's not a 13 plus, and that is one of the issues I would say with Japanese content in general. Is if you completely, because I mean we do have different cultures. If you take stuff that's made for Japanese teen and giving it to an American, it's going to have content in it that American teens we don't really expose American. As Americans, we're not exposed to that stuff until we get older.
The 13 plus was put there by Prime.
What is it in Japan?
I have no idea.
Well, I think a lot of times
Prime has an opportunity when they receive something like that from Japan to say this is 18 plus, and they did not.
They do, and I don't know what that review process entails. My assumption is it's just like, oh, would you guys rate it 13? Okay, for teens, sure. That's my assumption.
My assumption is always a little more suspicious than that. My assumption is they thought they could slip one in. Probably because the parents are going to let their kids watch their anime on their own, and nobody's going to double check them on this. And
now
there needs to be some sort of feedback thing. I'm probably actually going to be doing that this weekend.
If you want to make a write in, I'm sure that information would be taken into account.
It needs to be 18 plus.
But okay, so we both agree this content is not for a 14, 15-year-old. This is 17, 18 plus. The way our ratings go, it would be 17 plus, which I disagree with that, but that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
If it were rated for adults, would your opinion of it change?
No.
Okay.
No, because it's still, however you rate it, this is still marketed at teenagers. And then getting into this whole thing of trying to put this ideology into kids' minds that are struggling with some of that kind of stuff right now pretty hard. It's just there's nothing redeeming about this. You can come at me and argue whatever you want to argue about this thing. I'm just like, nope. I don't see anything redeeming about it. I don't know what the point of the Santa being added into it is, other than it's just a way to cover another one of these grooming stories. And that really, it seems like that's all this is trying to do. It's trying to make some just teen fantasy. I mean, you're depicting 14-year-olds doing all of this stuff. It doesn't matter how you rate that. It needs to be like a NC-17 if you're going to put a rating on it. That's when you start mixing in teachers and adults, and a 14-year-old Sanda who he starts to realize that he is really the grown-up Sanda, and now he's reverting back and forth between this adult body and this kid's body. So you're mixing in this kid that's basically in the body of a 50-year-old dude interacting with all of this going on. It's like,
and we mentioned how like from, I don't know if we mentioned this, but like from infancy they are arranged. Their marriage partners are arranged.
Yeah.
And Sanda has he's arranged to marry Nico, Kazo,
Yeah,
because Nico means cat,
yeah,
and then like the way they draw her, she has like the cat mouth.
yeah. She's
So that
Kazio.
Kazio, yeah, Nico Kazio. Um, and they don't really interact for a few episodes, and but then they start to interact, and she she's telling um, Shiori that it's fine if she likes Sanda because the more girls who are jealous is the once they actually get married, the better. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's a very juvenile perspective of relationships. And at one point, she asks Sanda for a kiss, and he gets a nosebleed, anime trope, and the red gets on him, and he starts to change into the large man. And he's in his internal monologues. He's like, "Well, I can't kiss her if I'm a huge man, if I'm an adult man."
Yeah.
So it does. Um, Out of all of them, Sanda does seem to be like the most mature about all this. He's the one that kind of seems the most level-headed.
Yeah.
Um, but just the yeah, I do agree that just the them broaching the subject, I mean, inappropriate is
I,
the word.
if I wanted to dive more into this and learn more about it, I could probably assign more things to it, but I just
Yeah,
don't. Like when you
yeah,
talk about like the tulpaism from the
mm-hmm.
empty man that we talked about recently, and how that's been co-opted by adult men that are obsessed with My Little Pony, and
Right.
they basically they try to manifest the idea of themselves as a pony so that they can prance around together and do God knows what. That this whole idea of him being a 50-year-old guy and then a 14-year-old guy, it just seems like it's kind of leaning that way towards I'm going to pretend I'm this for right now, and it seems to be getting into that whole world of tulpas and brownies and furries, and it's just a thing. If 30-year-olds want to go do that, great, have fun doing that. But the fact that one of those people in a outfit can be 14 and the other one could be 60 is what's horrifying about that.
Right.
And the thing that I've seen people at shows take some of these like furry costumes off, and you see them take it off, and they're like somebody in their 50s and 60s, and I'm like, what registry and what state is he on?
Mm-hmm.
And it blows my mind. I'll see a parent walking around with a kid who's in one of those costumes, and I'm like, how on earth are you letting your kid get into this? It's like, what? It's like, do you not understand any of the things that come along with this? Your kid needs to have a thing to kind of grasp onto to center themselves and cope with things or whatever. That's one thing, but taking them to a place where there are other people doing it, and you watch one of them, you walk around and you're like, oh, well, that's probably some kid, and you watch them go over to the corner and they take the mask off, and you're like, holy crap. That's like, that guy looks like every like any like sex offender page you've ever gone to. It's like that's the face of the people that you see on those things. Is like, oh my goodness. And whatever the intentions of this show are, I have no idea. It seems like it's popular in Japan, and that's frightening to me. That this kind of it
It's,
shows kind of our some of our sickness of our country is starting to infect Japan, and
it it says that the author of this wanted to write a story with human characters because her previous work is called Beastars.
I remember Beast. That was a whole fantasy furry
Yeah.
anime. I
So it's
remember.
funny that you're talking about furries because I think she's a furry.
Yeah, no, it's yeah. We'll start our campaign with all however many people watch us. Go to Prime and figure out a way to report this thing because it needs to be. There's absolutely nothing good. There's no way that you salvage what's happened in this thing into some kind of cohesive story. This is not going anywhere healthy for anybody. I'm not watching anymore, but if I was not sitting here on this table facing this way in front of the TV, pricing cards one at a time for hours, I would not have made it through 9 episodes. And I should have stopped earlier, but I figured since we were going to talk about it, I'd go as far as it went. And
The last couple of episodes, 7, 8, 9, maybe like the last 3 episodes, the whole Santa narrative did seem to take a backseat
yeah,
because in the first few episodes, it seemed like there's a direction.
I
This
thought maybe there was going to go somewhere interesting after
yeah
watching two,
yeah
and
I mean, I do like the premise of this guy who transforms into Santa, and Santa has these powers. He's immortal. He can be shot. He's super strong. He has like sleds, like skis really, that shoot out of his feet like Wolverine,
Yeah.
and he uses them as weapons. The like I said, I like the style. I like the premise. It kind of reminds me of this one comic I read years ago called Battle Pope, and that premise was just the apocalypse has happened, so God imbues the current pope with superhero powers.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's as blasphemous as you can come. I think. I mean, it. Jesus is his sidekick, and he's just this hippie.
Jesus is the Pope's sidekick.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty out there.
yeah, and similarly to Sanda, like what like when the Pope gets his powers, first thing he does, look at his crotch. He's like, all right, okay, it's just crude for the sake of being crude.
And I could have told you 2 minutes into this thing after because you were immediately introduced to Sanda
Mm-hmm.
and Shiori that Shiori was a lesbian.
Yeah.
And to me, again, why do you have to assign that to every girl that's super tall
Well,
or awkward or overweight
I
or just feels weird about their bodies?
I thought at first because when she killed him, there is a anime trope about like the super possessive girlfriend.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking
Oh
about?
yeah, yeah.
And that's what I thought they were
There's
going
one
to
of
go.
those in the Attack on Titan.
Okay, yeah. So
Um,
that's kind of what I thought they were doing.
why can't you just let it be that here's a little short guy who's going to become Santa and let there be a story between the two of them? It's like the little guy. You don't have to be some little storybook looking girl. If a girl treats a guy nice and directs some love at them, it's not real hard to win us over. And planting this
Well,
idea in girls' heads that if you're not a magazine looking girl, you're awkward, you're tall, you're whatever, then you've got to be gay. And it's like, no, you don't. There is a guy that will worship the ground that you walk on if you go out there and you meet a few guys. There are guys that are trash. There are girls that are trash. But just that's how this whole show feels to me is like you're trying to paint this world for girls, and I'm sure there's a lot of girls that are disillusioned that'll watch this and be like, I relate to all of this.
hmm.
And it's like, well, you should not.
And I think that's really why the age rating is really the issue. Um, I'm of the belief that narratives are have the I don't like to use the word the right narratives should be told, whatever narrative you want to tell. Like there is a juxtaposition between the two stories, like the two story beats that's going on. They don't seem, aside from Shiori wishing for Ichi to come back. Aside from that, there's really no connective tissue between this kid who can transform into a superhero Santa Claus and this lanky masculine girl who is questioning her sexuality. It, yeah, they do butt heads. It does seem like an awkward pairing. It's what, 9 episodes in? There's 12, so it's 4 more episodes, right? Is it 12 episodes? I'll let you know if there's any resolution that makes sense. I don't know if there's going to be, but
Godzilla shows up and destroys the entire place. That'd be my resolution to that one at this point. But yeah, I just don't like to see stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've seen, I can personally relay some stories to some kids that I know that have been trapped into this, and they're going to hit the age where they're going to regret it because they didn't have time to think about it, and they jumped into this thing and have made decisions that are going to affect them for the rest of their lives that they cannot undo. And this is just feels like that's part of that whole world.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
well, for a few years now,
it's not just evil; it's criminal.
We've had cultural push from the West to influence, and like there's been articles explicitly saying, well, how can the West's culture influence Japanese manga? And this could just be one of the results of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, if you disagree with that influence, hey, yeah, feel free to write a letter. Feel free to not watch this, to not give it the views. Yeah.
hopefully the people of Japan will reject it, but there will be people that identify with it. And again, it's
I don't recall.
everywhere in the world there are people that are confused and lost, and
Mhm.
this stuff preys on those people, and it's unfortunate. It's they're people that could be helped and guided out of some kind of dark
Mhm.
places or lonely places in some way that does not involve their sexual identity, and that's how that's how all of this functions, and it's gross. It's like I said, it's criminal.
I mean, it's anime in general. There are people who would say that anime as a medium is degenerate because not just because of stuff like this, but because of stuff the past 30 years.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
I
I don't expect
I
every
liked.
I don't expect every media that I watch
Yeah,
to follow along my personal moral, ethical, or
I don't have
ideological
as
lines.
I don't I don't approve of a thing where a teenage boy gets to see a big bouncy girl with boobs and giggles about it.
Yeah,
I, but at least that's it might not be encouraging the best activity, but it's I guess if your choices are a teenage boy that's 14 or 15 watching that or going online and watching porn, I guess I would rather him go that way.
there are other choices.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, overall, I would.
I'd love to see none of it be an option, but
Yeah,
when it's promoting a guy liking a girl and girls liking guys, it's a little bit of a different animal than making people question who they are and actually changing what they are and damaging themselves. That's
well,
two different things.
Shiori and I would. This is one of the. I'm not interested enough to go look at the original Japanese to see what the original Japanese says because
No,
a lot of times in translation and localization, a lot of things get inserted.
yeah,
But Shiori, by and large, doesn't seem to be questioning like her gender or anything like that. There's one time where she talks about you know looking more like a boy, that kind of.
yeah,
She does talk about that, but
yeah.
I don't know if that is, like I said, localization or it's in the original, but for the most part, she seems to accept the fact that she's a girl. At one point, she seems to be interested in Sanda.
Yeah.
That seemed to be where they were going at one point, and then that just kind of seemed to get cut off. So I don't know.
I
I don't know. We'll see.
I grew up playing sports. And a lot of the girls that I interacted with were girls that were on the basketball teams and volleyball teams, and they were taller and
Yeah,
lankier,
yeah,
less feminine, sometimes a little deeper voices, and they were still girls, and I still chased after
yeah.
them. That's the to take somebody that's a develops awkwardly and kind of shoehorn them into this is all you can be now is dangerous, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, that's why age ratings are important.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no, it definitely they need to scrap the 13 plus
Mm-hmm.
like yesterday.
I feel that way about like I'll play a video game and I'll be like, this is teen.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's you know,
yeah,
I definitely grow it because we grew up in the era like before, like in the 80s they didn't have PG-13, so like during the 80s and 90s that's when like all the rating systems got established.
I've probably still have somewhere in the back here cassette tapes. I don't know if I have anything I could still play a cassette tape on, cassette tapes that have parental advisory
Mm-hmm.
labels on them because of all of that thing that happened in what late 80s early 90s with any explicit lyric stuff, I guess, when rap became popular especially, and then it kind of came into heavy metal and rock and everything else. And
And as an adult, I 100% support the idea of age ratings, parental controls, and following that up, following the guidelines. But parents need to follow up with that because the things that are getting rated for teens, like, I mean, exactly what you're saying, a lot of times there's content in there that's really inappropriate for children.
yeah.
So,
I just made an account on Tubi so I could actually
mhm,
kind of keep track of stuff and looked at their ratings, and there's no way to separate stuff out that might be like Rambo
mhm,
from lesbian vampire beach volleyball murderers,
right.
chainsaw murderers, because they put that all in one category, and it's like I don't want to see that. And
Mhm.
when you watch Tubi with at least without the a sign in, I only signed into it here just a couple days ago. If you watch it without a sign up, you can have a Tom and Jerry cartoon, Scooby Doo, come up with one of those obscene 70s horror sexual movies. Then right after,
Sleepaway camp.
then right after it'd be another like kids cartoon. They all
Yeah,
come up in a list. I'm like, no.
yeah.
It's like you need to separate this stuff into categories to where I was thinking about this on Prime. It's like I don't think there's a way you can block content on Prime that I figured out. And even if you could not block this because it's
13.
if you tried to do adult
Mm-hmm.
blockings, it would be well. This still gets around it because it's 13 plus, and that to me says you know exactly what you're doing, and you're trying to do something you shouldn't be doing. I don't think I've ever seen anything listed as 13 plus. I've never. I don't pay attention to that stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
I guess maybe they're trying to say it's PG-13. That's probably what that equivalent rating is. I'm like, no,
No, yeah, it's definitely not. I
ab-
definitely wouldn't put it at PG-13.
absolutely not. So
All right.
we, in our search for
Anime, Christmas anime. We
found a
came
home
across Sanda.
run, and
Yeah,
then found somebody that got some poop in a couple bags and lit them on fire and threw them at us.
yeah. I
I'm,
think
I'm
I think
more
maybe watching the episodes of like this anime had a Christmas episode. Watch that episode.
yeah, I think there's some old Pokemon episodes where they like have a little Christmas episode. I'm like, I think I would have rather have done that than watch this thing for the last couple days and be sitting here yelling at my TV while I'm trying to price cards.
So, do you feel like this has disillusioned you with Saru?
I would say it definitely no, because I mean there's stuff that I hold high.
Mm-hmm.
Devilman Crybaby is
Yeah,
completely not for anybody but adults.
right.
It's very graphic. It has some interesting commentary on lots of things we'll get into sometime when we can maybe both watch that. Dan to Dan obviously is not for kids. We laughed about that because of all the jokes in that, and I've liked Dan to Dan because of that. I've laughed my head off at that thing.
Dude,
And
I googled Devilman Crybaby rating because I was curious. The people also ask, is Devilman Crybaby okay for a 12-year-old?
no, by no stretch of the imagination.
That's hilarious.
Japan Sinks is like kind of a thing you could almost kind of watch as a drama because it really is sort of like a survival drama. But I mean, people could just get violently killed in that
Mm-hmm.
through like natural, like falling off of something, not anything supernatural in that one. But yeah, I think before I dig into anything else they do, I'm going to try to figure out what it is before I watch. And again, if I'd started watching this not knowing any better or curious as to what it was, I wouldn't have gone 3 episodes for I would have stopped.
It looks like a Devilman Crybaby is TVMA.
Yeah. And Science Saru,
Mm-hmm.
you know, if they push limits, is this part of their studio? That's fine.
Well, they're
But
the ones that's going to be doing the Ghost in the Shell. So
I don't expect something Ghost in the Shell to be PG-13.
no, not at
And
all.
if they try to make it that way, they'll mess it up. And if they try to sell it that way and it's not, then they're lying. It's you can turn on Ghost in the Shell, the first movie, and figure out in the first 30 seconds that you're not watching that with your kids.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that might be one of the reasons the live action failed, is because they did try to make it a PG-13 type film.
Yeah.
Okay, it'd be interesting to see out of everything that Saru has done, like how much is TVMA and how much isn't.
I think though the thing to look for is like whoever wrote this stupid thing is see if she's done other Science Saru stuff or if there's any other people like that. And
She hasn't done much. She's done Beastars and Sanda. That's really all she's done.
sound like she's got some issues and sound like somebody that should probably be avoided. If there are two things you've turned out is a bunch of people in school trying to manipulate sexual things with 14-year-olds and then a bunch of stuff about furries, then yeah, nah.
She's the daughter of a manga artist. Let's see what he's done.
Apparently, I didn't pay enough
Baki
attention to her.
Grappier. Yeah, I have no idea who this is.
Yeah.
Oh, he did no, that's not it. Bunch of stuff I've never heard of.
Yeah. No, there's.
I thought it said Golden Boy. No, it's Garodin Boy.
Stuff like this kind of really makes it hard to make that argument for anime that I've made lots of times. But I mean, this is no different in regular film, in that there are these entries into regular film all over the place. They're on Netflix, they're on Disney, they're on everything else that aren't anime. I mean, the whole controversy was with Netflix back a while ago was like the cuties thing. Never watched it because I don't watch stuff like that, but I almost feel like this is kind of one of those type things to where they're being pretty exploitative with young girls and young boys, and
you just got to accept that there are people out there with nefarious intentions.
Yeah, and like I said, you can't just assign this, say, oh, it's just anime. It's you can go turn on your primetime slate of shows, and you're going to probably find some of this crap trying to work its way into
most
other things.
I mean, most modern produced works, it seems like there's some sort of narrative they're trying to push, some sort of cultural programming they're trying to affect. But
yeah, so
that's why age ratings are important, because adults shouldn't. That is the operative word. Adults shouldn't be affected by this stuff. They are, but they shouldn't be.
And I've said multiple times how many shows that I've watched so many times over because I've had to watch it once for me. Sometimes I bring in the wife in. It's like, will you watch this with me and see what you think? And we'll watch it a second time. And then if like we both kind of pass off on it, then we'll watch it with our kids. Mm-hmm. And that's the diligence that I think you should do on everything, not just anime.
Absolutely.
With your children.
Absolutely.
And if it's something that you don't know, then do not watch it.
Or at least don't let your children watch it without vetting it first.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
If you want to watch this, then maybe a little counseling might be involved in your future.
Hey, I mean, sometimes, and this isn't a recommendation, but sometimes when there's media that the child is presented with, it's an in to discussion about that information.
Yeah. Yeah, if you do your diligence and you preview something like this, and your child says, I'd like to watch this, Mom, they'd be like, no, I've already watched it, and you're not watching it because this is what it does, and I will tell you about it. And anybody that tries to introduce any of this to you is trying to hurt you. No questions asked. It's like, if anybody says anything about anything like this to you, you come to me. If it's the mom, then I'm going to let your dad know. Dad's going to go get his hickory axe handle, and he's going to go visit people. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. It's a weird place to end. I mean, I guess there's not a lot of anime that's Christmas themed.
I don't know if we should have led with this and then finished with Tokyo Godfathers.
It's all right.
To end on a positive, Tokyo Godfathers, again, if you forget this whole part of it, is amazing and you should watch it. Mm-hmm. I kind of felt like I'd rather push the negative to the back and didn't really intend to stay on this long. I kind of wanted to just say that I've watched this and it's crap and it's trying to groom your children. Don't watch it. That was going to be my entry into Sanda, but we like to talk about things, so we always go longer than we intend.
Man, I still like the animation. It's great animation.
I can find you some other animation if you just want to see some stuff that's cool.
Well, I've been watching something, but I'll talk about that next month.
There you go.
That's because I've definitely been getting, because of Hellsing. I've been looking because I was so taken aback by how horrible Hellsing was. Like, as an anime,
the original,
the animation. Yeah, I was like, this. I mean, it's like Pokemon quality animation. It's just bad.
Yeah.
And so I've been looking into like the different, types of animation and like what else is out there. And there's some good stuff out there, man. There's some really good stuff. And that's one of the things that it's one of those things I've always kind of knew. I've always known this, but I've never really considered it. It's something that I would seek out, is like the different styles of anime. That was always kind of like the connective tissue that I thought of when I thought of like, well, what is anime? Well, it's a certain style of animation. Nah, man, it's as some of the animation is as different from anime as like anime is from Disney.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's a huge, vast world of animation.
There's amazing properties all through anime, and I'm not going to veer from what I've always said, that it's better than anything else that we're being given over the last decade. But it does require some filtering, as Sanda
shows.
Just proved. And what was the other one? My Santa.
Yeah, and that one, I mean,
I could be okay with that one. It'd just be like, wow, that's you guys are y'all need to cut down on the cocaine and the crack.
My Santa was just manic. It was just insane. I did. I felt like as I was watching it, and as I was talking about it, I was like, I feel like I'm going insane talking about this.
I think I was talking about that in there, our cult stuff, when I was talking about some of the endless and those properties. It's like I don't know how to explain this to you where I'm not going to sound like I've lost my mind, and I didn't
Right.
make this movie. I promise.
All right.
So
Well, this is going to go up the week of Christmas.
yeah,
So the week after Christmas is going to be our leftovers.
yeah, that'll be our kind of a look back on the year
Yeah.
review of everything that's happened this year,
Mm-hmm.
which is again, we'll try.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to try to dwell on the negative there as well. There's
I don't think we'll be talking about Sanda in that one.
nah,
No.
no,
This is more like the positives of the year,
yeah,
right?
yeah. A review of everything that came out, kind of what you expected, what you wanted to be good,
Yeah.
what turned out to be good, that kind of stuff. I think
Okay.
is the way to approach it. So don't
All
watch
right.
Sanda. Yeah, hope
Yeah.
everybody has
Yeah.
a great Christmas,
Yeah.
and I always enjoy anybody. If you enjoy watching us, let us know. I don't think we've had a comment yet.
No, not yet. That's
Feel free to jump in
all
our
right.
comments anytime. We'll interact with you. Like our stuff if you like it. Subscribe, share, any of that good stuff.
We're on Spotify and X,
Yeah,
and that's information down there in the comment or
I know.
in the
We're more
content.
watchable on YouTube because audio on Spotify is maybe just not
Yeah,
kind to my voice and our little cheap microphones. We'll address that as as time
as
goes
time
on.
goes on. Yeah.
We'll get some quality equipment. Right now, I've got a little portable mic attached to some Connects hanging out here in front of me.
Yeah, the audio. I'm not audiophile in by any means. So like figuring out the audio, not only having good quality audio, but like how to capture it. That's
I'm
unless we want to spend a couple grand on like an actual professional setup, which we don't. Um, for now, we're gonna stay with this, and if we can figure out a way to get better, hey, we'll get better.
if not, we'll keep hanging out and
Yeah,
having this be a reason for us to eat some
that's
pretty
right.
bad
Try
for
some
us
new
food.
dishes that try some new dishes we would not have otherwise tried.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I
Have a
guess Merry Christmas, Joel.
have a wonderful
Yep.
Christmas.
Bye.
Later.